you are here to learn about Homebot. You are here to learn about it from the real estate perspective on how that's going to bring value to your clients. You're here to learn it from the lender's perspective. And also, if you are trying to understand, where this all plays in, let me give you a quick presentation, just so you're aware, at least from how Lynea is going to present it. She got into this model using Homebot from leveraging the home value ads, specifically ads like this that say, what's your home really worth? Enter your address to receive your home value. So I want you to start from this perspective, because most of the leads that she's generating are just randomly scrolling down their Facebook news feed. They see an ad like this or an ad somewhat like this, similar concept, right? Different photos. This is where everything begins. The image itself is clicked. This person thinks they're getting an automatic response. And so when they click on it and they start putting in their information, this is where everything begins. It's, they're all, oh yeah, I'm going to put in my address here. I'm looking forward to getting a home value. And then this email is collected, and this is where everything begins. Of course, the name and phone number and all that good stuff we want as well. But this is where the Homebot experience is powerful. You don't need all the other information. As long as you have the email, it's powerful, okay? And this is what really can begin the experience. Now, what makes unique for Lynea is that not only is she giving you an high-level experience with Homebot, which you're about to see, but she's doing things within her automations, and you can, any CRM most likely can do stuff like this, but she's got videos throughout the drip email campaign. So day 1, day 3, you can see all these videos. She's had 10 different video experiences going throughout in the first few weeks. And then Homebot is going to be doing the same. And then she's going to be doing some retargeting in there too. So there is no doubt in my mind that anybody that comes into the, the pipeline of Lynea Carver is going to get to know and like her. Whether they like it or not, they're going to get to know and like her and trust her. And her brand has been established that way. And that right there is kind of the framework that you want to look out of as we begin this presentation, because now you can see how this will complement what she's already doing so well, as in addition to the retargeting that she does on top of this. All right, Lynea, go ahead and take it away and kind of talk about it from that angle, and then take it into how Homebot came to be a part of the experience you have today.
Hi, I don't know if I know everybody. I'm sure I probably don't. My name is Lynea Carver. I am here in the south of Seattle market. I started with Street Text back in July, and like many people who have started with Street Text, my database went from, I think I had about 200 people in my database to now over 1,200 people. And it just happened like that. So all of a sudden I had this influx of people coming into my database, and I needed to have a way to follow up with them automatically, because we all know that, 1,200 people is a lot to follow up with manually, and there's literally no way I can do it. And so in order for me to, someone's screen sharing, who's that? In order for me to start following up with people, that's when I went and started building out my Street Text automations. I am a student of Krista Mayshore and have learned so much about video and how to actually use video the right way. So that's where my love of video came from. So the reason Homebot came in is because I needed another way to actually get people a home value, because I don't have time to run a home value for every single person. And people on the Street Text Mastermind were all talking about Homebot. And I was like, okay, I had Homebot as a consumer. Like the first time I ever bought a house, my lender gave me Homebot as a consumer. So I remember it from the consumer standpoint. And I remember thinking, oh, that's pretty cool. And to me as a consumer, I was kind of like, yeah, but it's the same thing as I could get, like if I were to go to some of the other online sources, right? Let's talk about Redfin. Let's talk about Zillow. All those places, they all have an online home valuation. So as a consumer, I was like, there's no big difference. So whatever, right? I did see my lender's name at the bottom all the time. So that was cool. So when I got into using it as an agent, I started like with my love of video, right? Let's add the love of video. Let's add my experience as a consumer. And the fact that like people are always going to be looking at their home value. That's why the home value ad is so successful, at least for me, because everyone is nosy. Everyone wants to know what's their home worth, their neighbor's house sold. They're hearing all this stuff on the news that, you know, the market's going crazy. What's your home's worth way more than it was. And around here it is like October to now. It's crazy. That's a different story. Anyway, so that's kind of where I really started digging into Homebot as an agent, because I started seeing the value in being able to brand myself to people and their need and their curiosity, right? And Homebot, when I started digging in even more, I realized there's so much more you can do with it than just my experience as a consumer sitting there and seeing my lender's name at the bottom. So that is where I partnered with Mikayla, and I just by digging in, I didn't do any training or anything on Homebot. I literally just started digging in. I have to know the answer to everything. My brain doesn't rest until I actually know how something works. So when I started digging in to Homebot, I learned that there's so much that you can do with video and Homebot. So that's where Mikayla comes in, because all of a sudden I was like, Mikayla and I had been kind of connecting about just marketing and whatnot. I mean, she's really into, you know, if you guys don't have a lender who does video, I encourage you to either encourage them to do video or find another one, because that's one of the reasons that Mikayla and I click so well, is because she is all about the video. She wasn't always. She wasn't always.
No.
I will tell you, when we first met, she's like, well, let's start working together. And I was like, well, if you want to start working together, we got to start working together, not just like me sending you business and back and forth, right? We have to actually start working together. And so that's where I told her, I was like, I'm video. So now if you follow me on Instagram, you see lots of reels that Mikayla and I are doing together, because now we're both super comfortable. Anyhow, I digress. Back to how Mikayla fits into Homebot is that without Mikayla and her sponsorship to Homebot, I cannot use video the right way in Homebot. So that's where she comes in. So I'm kind of like looking in the comments on the side, and I'm seeing like all of these like people who use it, have a love-hate relationship, people who don't use it. I mean, there's so many things. So I have a presentation that I put together a while ago, because I did another presentation on Homebot. So I'm going to go through this, but you know, if you have questions or anything, put them in the chat. And Nina, Mikayla, Marcus, if you guys want to speak up during any of these points, please do. So let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah, and I would just mention one quick thing, because there were a couple of comments in there of, this already sounds great. Do I need my loan officer to use Homebot? And like Lynea was just saying, you can do Homebot on your own without a lender sponsor, but you're going to get a minimal version of the product. You won't be able to use video, which is a really powerful piece, and what Lynea is really harping on, and what helped her increase her business so much. People want to hear from you. They want to see your personality. So we'll talk about the use of video, but then also connecting to your entire database. So if you were to do Homebot on your own as a real estate agent, you're only going to get the homeowner side or the seller side of the platform. But we know a lot of your buyers right now really need your help with market information. So she'll touch on that as well, but I just wanted to offer that up too.
Well, and also to that point, Nina, your sellers are also going to be buyers. So if you don't have access to be able to give them what they need in one stop or one tool, you know, it's kind of like, why have them go to multiple places when they can just go to one, and you can be branded across the board. So that's the other side of that. Thank you. Okay, so let's take a look. You know, like I said, just put questions in the chat as you come through, and I'll actually show you my personal Homebot so you guys can kind of see what I've done to it. But essentially, I've already talked about why you need it, right? You need it because you need to be in front of your people. You need to brand yourself. I will tell you that whenever I have people who go into Homebot and I call them, they always know who I am. I mean, it's like made my calling so much easier, because people know who I am. So that's why you need it. So there we go. But on top of that, if you follow Inman News, on January 14th, they issued their 22 must-have real estate tech tools for agents, and Homebot was the #1 tool. So like even the experts and even the real estate pros say that you need it. So if you don't take my word for it and you take Inman's word for it, there's a reason why. And I'll show you the reason why. So a couple of the things that are really cool about Homebot that make my life easier, make it easier for me to know who to call, make my call, I mean, just make it all easier, is that Homebot every week sends you an email that looks something like this. And it says, listen, in the past 7 days, you had 69 people going into Homebot and doing something. And somewhere along the line, I don't know, Nina, if this is true. I heard this, I could have been making this up in my head, who knows? But I had heard that somewhere along the line, if someone is active in Homebot, I think like 6 times, they have a higher propensity to sell in the next what, 30 to 60 days or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We have amazing data. You'll get all of that in your activity feed. You know who's active, who you need to reach out to, but it's driving those conversations that, you know, like Lynea can easily, and Mikayla, come back to their clients and say, hey, just checking in. You don't even have to mention, you know, that you're seeing that they're active in Homebot, but just that organic touch point is really going to build that relationship even much further than it already is.
Yeah. And so you can see like this person here, I'm obviously for privacy blocked out names and whatnot, but this number one and 2 person had 7 activities. So that means, and I'll show you what the activities are in just a second, but that means they went into Homebot and they dug in to 7 different locations within Homebot, 7 different locations where I have video, where I have customized information for them 7 different times. And that was a super easy call to make. It was like, hey, how's it going? Oh, hey, Lynea, good to see you. I actually get your emails all the time. I was just playing with it last week. Oh, really? How can I help you? See, super easy phone call. So that's why I like it. Part of the reason I like it is because it does help me prioritize who to call. So there you go. Homebot and BombBomb go hand in hand. You integrate BombBomb with Homebot. I think you can also do YouTube with Homebot. I don't know. I use BombBomb, so I don't know. Can you do YouTube, Nina? Do you know? Yes.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. YouTube, PitchHub, Wistia, BombBomb are the 4 video platforms that integrate.
Awesome. I personally like BombBomb because I like the analytics of it. I get emails every day that people are watching my high demand market is the #1 video that's being watched through Homebot right now. And I can show you that video in a second because the market, we're in a high demand market. And so a lot of those people are starting to want to think about selling. And even though like the integration, the BombBomb analytics don't tell you exactly who watched it, you can go into Homebot and kind of dig and see who it was and just do process of elimination. So that's why I really like BombBomb as the integration. Videos, right? And that's what we're all talking about today. You can send, I know Wendy sends like just regular communication to people through Homebot. She has a lot of different types of videos that she sends through Homebot. I like to send, when someone has a specific CMA request, I usually send it directly through Homebot. I'll review their Homebot with them and go side by side and compare it to what I actually see in the MLS. I'll just send like a greeting. I sent a why you should sell your home this winter greeting. I'll send monthly market updates out, but you can send people a video as often as you want in Homebot. You can send a generalized video to everybody, or you can send like a one-on-one video and have a one-on-one conversation through Homebot. So that's part of the reason I like it so much. But every time you send a video through it, they get an email and it triggers them to look again at their data. And they do. They do. So that's why I like it. Other cool things is you can actually add a widget to your website or your social media, which actually allows people to go directly into your Homebot. This is on my website, LyneaCarver.com at the very bottom. What's your home worth? People go in and enter it, and then there you go. And then I don't have to worry about setting up additional automations for that because they're set up in Homebot. So work's already done. And then we'll talk about the buyer side in just a minute. But with the buyer side, what's really cool is they can set up their own home search and tailor it to whatever area they want to tailor it to. So you don't even really have to do what are you looking for? They can actually do all of that themselves. And it kind of takes away the intimidation to actually talk to somebody. I found for a lot of people, they want to just do it on their own. So having the ability to let them set up their own buyer search takes some of that away. How am I doing here? You guys have anything you want to add?
I got a question. I'm sorry, I was a few minutes late. How do you introduce, I guess I'm a little confused when Homebot shows up and your CRM stops. Does the Homebot take the place of your CRM?
No, Homebot is not a CRM. Homebot is an addition to.
In addition, so you're in your CRM, you kind of introduce them to Homebot, but you still do your CRM tasks, drips, videos, whatever. And then that CRM start talking, or Homebot start talking to them. And if they have a separate thing going on with the Homebot, then you can at least monitor it. Is that the idea?
Yep. So the way I use Homebot with street text is between days, once I get the home value automation or the home value request, between days 1 and day 4, they get sent to Homebot. I'll go in real quick and I'll kind of look just to make sure that the Homebot value is somewhat within the range of what I would think based off of data alone, literally knowing nothing else about their house. Because the last thing I want is for it to be really, really, really low or really, really, really high. I want it to kind of be on point, right? So Homebot actually has a little bit of a delay from the time someone goes into it to the time it actually sends the email. You can change that if you want, but I keep it on a standard. I change it to 2 days and I think it defaults to 3 days. But I change it to 2 days. So that gives me 2 days from the time someone gets sent over to Homebot to the time they actually get the email, the very initial email. And in that initial email, they have a video from me in the Homebot app that talks about how to use Homebot and all the things that they can do. Does that answer it, Joe? Okay. So why don't I show you a little bit more about like the interior of Homebot. You guys can probably hear my dog. She likes to talk a lot right now. So, so let me show you about a little bit of the backside of what Homebot kind of looks like for the consumer and where the videos pop up. Okay, so I'll just show you mine. So this is mine. I get an email every month that looks something, it just says, hey, we have an update for you in Homebot is what the email says. And then I come in and as a consumer, this is what I see. The Homebot says, oh, this is the estimated value of your home. And I can say as a consumer, does it seem yes, no, accurate, whatever. So whenever someone clicks anything in here, I get an alert. So if I click yes, I'm automatically going to get an email saying Lynea Carver tuned her value. She needs the CMA. So automatically it's a reason for me to take action, give that person a call, send them an email, do whatever. Okay. As a consumer, I can come in and I can take a look at what's going on in my market. And here is where I can see, hey, we're at a really, really high seller's market. I mean, this is pretty cool. I mean, just having this right here, and you don't see this on Zillow or Redfin at all. There's no map like this or no graph like this that talks about it. So you can see that in there. You can see I have a video in here. And this video is the video that's being watched the most often right now, this 30-second video.
Yeah, one thing that I would also put in there too, Lynea, there were a couple of questions around that home value, and I'll answer that in a second. But while you're here on this graph, for all the loan officers out there and real estate agents too, this didn't exist about 8 months ago. We added this feature in here of is it easier to sell and should you sell? Because clearly in the last 2 years when rates were really low, there were a lot of refinances happening. But then towards the end of 2020, we started to see double the volume in people looking at market information, indicating that they were thinking of selling their house. So we built this entire section to be easy for you and for your homeowners to go in and say, hey, am I in an opportunity where I could sell my house? Do I have good indicators so that they can have a better conversation with you? So this was all derived from just that human behavior that was coming in back to us of what your clients were asking for. So this is going to be a really awesome opportunity for you to pay attention to people when they're looking at this, because it might be a great way to just say, you know, hey, what are you thinking? Are you staying in your home? Do you have a growing family? How can I help you? I mean, you guys do your job better than anybody else. So that's a really great feature there. On the home value piece, anybody wondering where we get those AVMs? Yes, you're right. Markets are all over the board these days. We get our values from Black Knight. We feel extremely confident in their numbers, but we all know that homeowners have an opinion about what their house is worth. So that's why that tune your value button is there. If they're in disagreement with it for whatever reason, they can go in and tell you why they think it's off. And then that again is a better opportunity for you to have a solid conversation with them.
Speaking of that, I just had a client reach out to me yesterday because she didn't agree with her value. And so I had to explain to her that she wanted me to update it because we just refinanced her. But it got a conversation going. So all those like little questions of why they're all looking in there, like my open rate is 87%. So 87% of my past clients open their Homebot Digest every month. So I had another one last week who they sent me a message. I got an email that said that they wanted to look into what would happen if they put a lump sum payment down. So I called them and said, hey, I got your message from Homebot. And they said, oh, I accidentally clicked that, but it got a conversation going about, we have a recast option if they want to recast their loan. And then also they want to buy a second home or a vacation home in this year. So it started talking about that conversation of doing, okay, let's do a cash out refinance and look at what we can do for your vacation home purchase. So all those came just from the digest that they're getting and them clicking around.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, I've had very, very similar conversations. I had someone who's like, your value is way too low. So I picked up the phone. I was like, oh my gosh, what makes you think so? Well, I've done this and this and this and this to my house. And the person never responded to any of my emails or any of my texts, or didn't answer the phone when I tried to call. But then all of a sudden they got the value, and the value was too low. So then they answered the phone. So just have to remember, like, anything that you do through here, it's just initiating a conversation. So the other cool thing that Mikayla had kind of talked a little bit about is, like, is it a good time to sell or recast your loan? Basically every single button that they click on here, they're going to have an option to see you as the agent on video. Mikayla and I actually have a joint video in here, which is the other reason why lenders love it. So if you go to your joint video, one second, let me find it here. So in your video, to customize videos, it's really easy. That's another really one of my favorite things about Homebot. It's so easy. Like, you don't need a training to do it. You don't. I mean, you can have one, but you don't need a training to do it. If you can figure out how to click a button and hit copy paste, it's super easy. So to add a video, just real quick, I'll do a quick high level. Look, here you go. You can choose which platform you want. You want BombBomb. If you have the BombBomb Chrome extension, which I highly recommend for everybody, I know Marcus does too. All you have to do is just go up here and say, you have to go into it, grab the embed code, and then just paste it right here. And then it pops up. It's like so easy. But then the reason why Mikayla and I are in here is because now here she's got her intro to refinancing. So if I happen to have maybe a seller that, maybe they're a home value lead, but they're not actually like a seller lead, they're just a refi lead, they're going to be in here, they're going to automatically go to Homebot, and then there's Mikayla. So they're going to find out about refinancing, and there's Mikayla. So that is why I use video literally everywhere throughout Homebot.
And I love that you two are partnering on your videos together, because think about, as a real estate agent, your entire book of business, and these people know you, and they are spending all of their emotional energy with you, the real estate agent. I remember when we bought the house that I'm in right now last year, I mean, my poor agent was more of a therapist than anything else for me. But in order to understand the financing and all of that, it was really nice to be able to see that preferred lender, that loan officer, especially in a video, knowing that if Lynea is your real estate agent, you're her client, and now she's saying, hey, I trust Mikayla, my loan officer, that just makes that client of yours feel that much more safe and secure. So the fact that you two are partnering on those videos is such a pro tip. I love seeing that.
We're actually also today, we're creating this one because we were going to try to get it done before this, but it didn't happen. But it is what it is. But we're going to create a joint video together for the buyer intro. So when people go and create a buyer profile, well, they can see me as the agent, they can see Mikayla as the lending side. So that's where it really comes in. Like, that's why I say, if you are an agent and you're working with a lender who does not do video, I strongly, strongly encourage you to tell them that they need to do video or find a lender who will, because that will help your conversion rate 100%. Also, it just makes it easier too, because there's so many other things that you and your lender can do with video when it comes to writing offers, but that's a completely different topic. So I would just say, like, I strongly encourage your lender to do video.
Lynea, just two quick questions. This whole section, this customized section, is opened up when you get a lender involved, right?
Correct.
And the second thing, these categories here that you have, are they already built into, and
Yep.
you can just do a video and follow the subject line so you don't gotta overthink it?
Yep. So easy.
This is nice.
So they have, like, here's one here, instant offer, which is one I haven't done a video yet about. I'm actually getting instant offer certified through EXP, but this is this is kind of what Homebot has in here for you. So you guys, you don't actually have to create your own videos if you don't want to, because Homebot already has a ton of these already in here, and they're very generic. I mean, let me show you a very generic video. Will it play it for me? Can you guys see the video? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Instead of selling your home on the market, you could get a cash offer for your home from a company. If your home fits their criteria, this could be a quick and convenient way to sell. But you could also end up selling your home for less than you'd get on the open market. Your agent can help guide you through various instant offers and show you a market listing scenario so you can better evaluate your options. Have questions? We're here to help.
So there's a Homebot provided video, which is awesome that they provide one for you. So you don't actually need to have one. But why would you want that, in my opinion? Why would you want a generic one when you could actually have, you actually, being the expert saying like, hey, you want to buy a new house? Let's get you pre-qualified. I mean, something like this. This is much easier and this is a much better video. It's a great thumbnail too, by the way. And yes, I kept it that way. I don't even care. I know Danielle's probably looking at this right now and she's like, yeah, do it all the time.
Getting pre-qualified is a great way to understand how much you can afford while also showing sellers that you are actually approved to buy. Now, there's a difference between a pre-qualification, which is an estimate based on a conversation and a review of your assets and credit, and a pre-approval. Now, the big difference is that a pre-approval is based on their.
So, and I'm going to show you the whole 47-second video, but you can see it's just a super simple video. It's not scripted. It's like, listen, this is it. Like you can do these options, but it's very different than having a video that's just not branded, right? I mean, this is like me. This is how I'm doing the same motion right now with my hands. This is how I talk. Like that's the faces that I make. And so it makes it much, it's just a much smoother transition when people are actually coming to talk to you.
We actually had a sales rep over at Homebot a while ago, and she always said, your first take is always the best. Yeah. The more you do it, the more you think about it, the more you mess up. But at the same point in time, like people love to see that human aspect of you. And, I love that you're like, I'm still doing these same, I'm a hand talker as well too. So yeah, don't worry about it. Don't be shy. Just be you. People want to see the authentic human that you are. And we do have scripts in our help center if you need them. But again, just remember your first take, usually the best take.
Yep. Okay. There's a lot of questions. I don't know if I may have missed a few things, but
yes. Hey, and while you're looking or you're going to put some more stuff up, let's use the chat feature, guys. There's a little reactions button in your Zoom meeting where you can raise your hand. Some of you have already raised your hand, so I want to start with you. So if Susan, if you're here, you're first, then Adrian, and then Carolyn in that order. And then anybody else, raise your hand and we'll call on you.
Hey, thanks. Hey, Lynea. Thank you for doing this again. So I asked once before and you said that all of your videos are edited. So I'm just wondering, how do you edit your BombBomb videos?
Well, I just sent them to my editor. I mean, are you asking like, how do they get the video?
Yeah, so I'm not all that familiar with BombBomb. So don't you just record it on the app on your computer?
You can, or what I do, I just record it on my phone, on my camera, on my phone, and then I upload it into Google Drive, or my editor grabs it, and then we upload it into BombBomb from there. Okay. You don't have to use BombBomb to record video. You can, and that's a great feature that BombBomb does offer. But you can actually upload into BombBomb and use BombBomb as a video storage tool.
Okay, thanks. That was the missing link for me. And then, one more question.
Yeah.
So Street Text obviously has the drip, right? So there's emails that are going out. When do you take them from your Street Text drip campaign and put them in your CRM?
After 6 weeks, or if I've signed a listing agreement or buyer's agreement before that.
Okay, so 6 weeks with Street Text, and then from there you switch them to your CRM, and then your CRM just kind of picks up from where Street Text left off.
Mm-hmm. I have my workflows built out to start there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
Lynea. Hi, Lynea. I just have one question. How do you integrate, let's just say that you have 500 sellers and you started with Homebot today. how do you integrate those 500 sellers into the system?
Great question. So it's super easy. You just import. So BombBomb has, I'm sorry, BombBomb. Homebot has an import function, which is super easy. All you have to do is just, I don't want to show it because I don't want to show all my people, but when you go to your homepage, it just gives you, there's a little button right here, it's pink, and it just says mass import, and you can just automatically upload everybody into Homebot.
Okay.
And then that kind of touches on the next point of how I use Homebot, and we can get to the other questions in a second, is that yes, I use it to help convert leads, okay? Mikayla just touched on a huge point, which is your past clients, because I mean, your past clients, they've already spent money, so they definitely should be in Homebot because it allows you to stay in touch with them. But the other way that I use Homebot is actually to help convert like just a prospect that I may just want to have as a client, right? So I'll call somebody up, and this has worked for me dozens of times. I just call somebody up, like for example, I'll call Mikayla, pretend she's not Mikayla, pretend she's somebody else, and just say, hey Mikayla, how's it going? La la la, talk, right? And then say, hey, I actually was wondering, I just made this really cool investment into this awesome tool for my business, and I love your ability to give feedback or whatever, compliment her. Can you help me with something? Can you tell me if this is something you think that you would find valuable as a consumer? And then I just upload them into Homebot, and then they come back to me with all of these like different things that they love about it or they don't like about it, which helps me better talk about it to my clients, or better talk about it to my lenders, or better learn more about it, right? And that's a really, really awesome way to use Homebot, is to actually like just have those regular conversations with people and just plug them in there because you're not trying to sell them a home value. You're not trying to give them something they're not asking for. You're actually asking them for something that's going to give them value.
So would you also include into the mass import, say like do a video, letting people know that you're providing them this new tool?
Yep, I did that as well. So when I first started doing it, I loaded everybody in, I sent out a video. It's just like, hey, this is what you're getting. And then they have that video coming out in an email. And then when they go into Homebot, they have another video in there that explains Homebot.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Carolyn.
Hey, Marcus. Hey, Lynea. How you doing? Shout out to Marcus and Lynea. Because of both of you, I signed up with Krista. So thank you for that. I just started my coaching last week, and I'm very excited. Lynea, quick question for you. So I have Homebot, but my Homebot is through Ylopo, and it's not allowing me to, it says that I have to team up with a lender. Now, I have not teamed up with a lender. Do you think that would be an advisable thing to do in order for me to start doing videos? Because on my screen, it says, in order for me to start posting videos, I have to team up with a lender.
Yeah, that's why you have to have a lender. You can't do video without it.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Cynthia.
Hi, thanks. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is a question for now or later, but Lynea, my question is, I'm trying to still comprehend the symbiotic relationship between Street Text, Homebot, BombBomb, and how to integrate all those together, because I'm new in this whole system. And so Lynea, I would love to know your system. I feel like you touched on this a while ago, months ago, when I did this, and then I stepped out, and now I'm stepping back in to try and get it all together and get started. Like, what is your system that you do? You said you've got Street Text, it sits in there for 6 weeks, then you integrate it into Homebot. I'm just curious what you're doing in all of this. And like I said, I don't know if this is a conversation for this particular group or whether it's a whole nother topic of conversation, or if I connect with you privately, if that's okay at some point too, to really understand, because I want to do it all, and I want the system set in place and help getting set up, I guess, and make sure I'm doing it the most effective way.
So BombBomb is the video platform. So like you can't really embed, I mean, I think there's other tools out there that you can use, but BombBomb, in my personal opinion, is one of the standout video platforms. So that's what you have to have in order to integrate video into your Street Text and your BombBomb, or sorry, your Homebot. So
Okay.
Without BombBomb.
So number one, get BombBomb.
Yeah, like you can't do it without that.
Okay.
But Street Text and Homebot, they just kind of go hand in hand, because when I'm running a home value ad, people want to know what their home is worth. I can only do so much with like marketing drip campaigns and, trying to get people to want to call me. But when they're going into Homebot, they're actually getting what they asked for. They're actually getting a home value. Does that answer the question?
That makes sense. So then what is the difference with Street Text and Homebot then? Are they both like lead gen resources?
I kind of look at Street Text as a lead gen and Homebot is a lead nurture.
Okay.
That's how I would look at that.
Okay. Fabulous. I
know there are people who do try to use Homebot as a lead gen, like people who run ads and try to get people to go into Homebot and to put their information to get a home value. I personally have not found much success with that. And I think a lot of it is because in order for someone to get their home value, like through Homebot, they have to give you all of their information. They have to give you their name, their address, and they don't have to give you their phone number, their name and their email and their address, which is sometimes a little bit too much for a cold lead, right? But if they're going to Street Text and you're using the Street Text platform to capture their information and you have enough to actually input it into Homebot, then Homebot does the nurture, helps you with the nurture side of it.
Okay.
One way, and sorry, I've got landscapers out of my building, but one way I've seen people also use the when they're trying to get people to join Homebot is on Facebook. So you have your Facebook friends, you can post your link and it says, do you want to know your home value? So you might have a better chance of them filling out all that information if you're friends with them on Facebook or they follow your business page. So I've seen people do that.
Jeff, okay. Joe, Chris, and then Linda.
Yeah, Marcus, thanks. My question's actually for Nina. I currently use Homebot and I do have a lender co-sponsor, took advantage of that only to use the ancillary benefits of Homebot. But my question, Nina, is now that I think about it, and I didn't bother thinking about it before, obviously my lender has access to my database through Homebot. First question, do they have access to just my buyers or do they have access to my homeowners as well? Secondly, do they get notifications from my buyers the same way I do? I guess those are my two main questions.
Yeah, great question, Jeff. Sorry, guys, I have my co-pilot here, sick kiddo at home. So your lenders do not have access to your clients. They can't see their names, their phone numbers, their emails. They can just see the amount of clients that you have loaded in your account. So as an example, Mikayla cannot go see all of Lynea's clients that she has in her account. That's still your protected database. But if one of your clients, Jeff, hits that question button on a financial piece of Homebot, like they want to get pre-qualified or they want to refinance, then your lender sponsor has that email and they have the contact information of your client there. So second part to your question, with the buyers, the only time your buyers would interact with your loan officer is if they ask a question about a pre-qual or they ask how today's current interest rates are affecting their purchasing power. That's when your loan officer would get notified. But if they're just asking a real estate question, your loan officer would not see that.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Joe.
Okay, my question is for Mikayla. How do I get a lender to actually sign up? Because my lenders are cheap, man. I keep bringing them business. And then when I say, hey, can we partner up on that? They look at me like I'm trying to rob them. And I'm like, dude, I'm bringing you business literally weekly. I'm like, so.
Well, so where are you located? I was going to say, I'm licensed in Oregon and Washington. Okay.
In the Bay Area.
I'm with Guild Mortgage, and Guild Mortgage actually bought it for all of us. So we don't have to pay for it, which is nice. So a lot of us use it because we were provided it. And so it's just kind of a tool that we have. And so we've all kind of dove into it. But so, I mean, so that's where I guess I'm lucky. I think that it's just, you have to have like someone I heard said, get a new lender. I think that you just have to have the right mentality. It takes money to make money. So we all know that it takes money. You got to start somewhere, and you got to start with money to make your money. So
So question, if I could talk my broker, let's say my broker decided I could convince them this is a great tool that everyone should have. For some reason they listen to me. I don't know, I don't know why. But is there like a discount that, oh, maybe that's not for you, Mikayla, that's for
Probably for Nina, yeah.
Nina. Is there a way for them to buy in bulk or?
So on the real estate agent side, we don't discount the platform in bulk just because it's so affordable, but stay towards the end and I will have just an additional benefit for you as well. But if you have any questions about that too, and if you are looking for a loan officer sponsor, Joe, don't hesitate to reach out to Homebot and we can try to help you in that effort.
Well, the lenders are good. They're just cheap, but yeah, I might have to.
You know, I think the biggest thing to understand is that and a lot of people have asked about cost, which I'm happy to get to real fast for the loan officer. So there are two different plans that the loan officer can choose, Pro and Pro Plus. Let's just stick with Pro for today. It's $200 a month for your loan officer to use the system. But the reason why their cost is so much more than a real estate agent is that the loan officer not only has their own Homebot account, they're staying connected to their book of business and generating transactional volume out of that. But when they sponsor you, they're branded in your material. And so if your clients want to refi, cash out refi, purchase, then they're going to benefit from those opportunities as well. So there's a little bit more transactional volume in it for them. And it's not just their database. They also could be talking to your database. So again, if anybody has questions about lender pricing, and if you're...
No, go that way.
Sorry.
I gotta see which one I'm leaving.
I'm going to mute that. Okay, perfect. So if you are a loan officer and you're not yet using Homebot, our team is more than happy to, give you an individual demo. So don't hesitate to call us and use that opportunity. But that's the cost difference in the loan officer. And if you put it into transactions perspective, 1 or 2 transactions out of Homebot for the loan officer pays for their service for the year. 1 or 2 transactions out of Homebot for you, a real estate agent, pays for your service for more than 1 year, years, right? So we feel really confident that you're going to see that activity to warrant the cost, but we're also month to month. So at the end of the day, if it's not doing what you thought, we'll help, but you can cancel your account at any point in time as well.
One last question. Do you have like a little introduction for the lender, like a video or something, so I could like put out, take a look at this?
Yeah, I believe we do. Let me look at my help center, Joe, and I'll try to post it in the chat. Good question.
Chris, I know you you left your computer and then went onto your phone. If you can unmute yourself, go ahead and ask that question because you were next in the lineup.
Yeah. So my question was to Lynea, and Lynea, the way you share everything you do, thank you so much. I think it's so kind, this community, the way everybody is so resourceful in sharing. So thank you for that. My question for you, Lynea, was, do you typically, like when you're setting up a home valuation ad in street text, the way I understand it, I'm kind of a newbie to the crowd, is you get their information and then you basically send them a CMA as soon as you can. Do you still do it that way, or do you take them directly to, and if I missed you answering this, I'm sorry, or do you take them directly to Homebot to where they can get an instant answer to what they signed up for?
So I let them go to Homebot first before I actually do a CMA for them. And I will tweak their value in Homebot a little bit. So I have the integration from Street Text to Homebot, and I just click the button. I click the button the day the lead comes in to send them over there. And then within the next 2 days, I'm going in to make tweaks to the value if I need to. And then, if I have a conversation with the person, then I do a CMA for that, full CMA for them.
Okay. But the Homebot does that widget that you, or wherever you take them, immediately gives them what they signed up for. Like, tell me my value right this second.
It doesn't give it to them right away. No, you have about it's a 3-day lag between the two of them. But what they are getting from me in the meantime is just some nurturing from the Street Text campaign that's telling them what to expect.
Okay, so
I believe you can manually push that value out if you want to send it out immediately, though.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can go in, like once they go into Homebot, you can go in and just manually push it out if you want to. But I usually,
and is that
give myself a couple days just because that's a lot if I have to do it all in one day.
Yeah, but that's the way Homebot works. So then is what I'm gathering is Homebot doesn't just, you send it to one of your past clients and say, check out your value. Unless you've put that first value in, it doesn't just pull that. It doesn't just push that out. There's not instant. It gives you the ability to kind of manipulate the numbers a little bit to make sure it's on point.
It does, yeah, but it is essentially, yes. And it does give them an automatic home value. So like if you don't tweak it and it sends it out to them, it's just gonna have the number that's in there.
Got it. Okay, very good. That's helpful. Thank you. Thanks again for all your help, Lynea.
Oh, of course.
Linda.
Yeah, gosh, my question kind of changed based on that last question that the gentleman asked. So in home, I was curious why the delay, but sounds like you can push it out right away if the clients, do they put their home value in? I mean, not their home value in. Do they just put their address in, or do they tell you 3 bedrooms, 2 baths? And this question is for anybody. I don't know if it's probably better for the home, Nina, for the Homebot person, or Lynea. So why did I guess the first, why the delay? And I guess you can change it. It sounds like you can push it out right away. And do they just put their address in for the home value, or do they put like 3 bedroom, you know, do they list everything they have?
Yeah, great question. All that data is going to come from public records, even their loan information. So you don't have to worry about that at all. Within those widgets, it's going to ask for their property address, because that's what's going to designate being able to pull that home value, and then naturally their name and their email. So that's all they need: name, email, home address. They don't put in home facts. They don't put in loan information. The reason for the delay is that they're going to get a welcome email from you first that just says, hey, thanks for signing up with Homebot. And then you'll also get an email that you just generated a lead in your Homebot account. So if you see that your neighbor is the one that put their information in and they want to know what their house is worth, that is going to give you about 24 hours to go in there, maybe look at that data, because we all know we've got those clients that are just going to have opinions. So if you're like, okay, I know this person's going to want to know what their house is worth, I would like to make sure that I can put my value in there first. It gives you that time to go in and adjust that home value if you need to. Otherwise, it will push out Homebot's AVM. So it just gives you that opportunity to go in there. If you see a name that you're like, oh, I might want to go in and check that CMA first, you've got that opportunity to do it. But again, they can go in there, they can tune their own home value and strike that conversation up that way. Or as Lynea was saying, it's a great opportunity for those welcome videos to put in that opportunity of, hey, this is your first Homebot report, meant to empower you, to educate you, to give you some great information on your property. If you don't agree with your home value, let's talk about it, right? The market's crazy right now, and I am happy to give you a personalized CMA, come over, bring you a cup of coffee and see your house myself, whatever the scenario is, right? So that's the real reason for the lag time there. We want you to be able to have eyes on it.
Okay, that makes sense. And then along the line, then I had 2 other quick questions. Do you need does it make sense to have a local mortgage company? Because one of the guys I work with I live in Pasadena, he's in San Diego, but it sounds like it's probably better to have a partner with somebody who's local.
We're nationwide. I think it all comes down to your relationship and who you want to work with. And if they're licensed in your state and you know that you two have a great partnership, that's totally up to you.
Okay, and the other question for anyone is, Street Text has a drip campaign, and Homebot sounds like it has a drip campaign. So I guess, Lynea, how do you work those two? You just let Street Text, I don't know, I lost you on my screen here. Lynea, how do you, you just let both do the drip campaign? Oh, there you are. How do you work that? Do you let them both, or do you turn Street Text off once they're over in Homebot?
Homebot's, I don't know that I would call it a drip campaign. Like a drip campaign is when you're specifically like kind of, you're trying to get them to want to give you more information or want to remind them of you. I mean, I don't consider a Homebot a drip campaign. A Homebot is literally just a home value, and it gives them an automatic estimate every month. You can use it to send video through if you want to, but I mean, Homebot's kind of separate. So they're getting, depending on where they're at in the nurture process for me, like in the very beginning, they're getting multiple touches from me. I mean, and I think in the first 2 weeks, I think they probably get like 27 touches from me in that first 2 weeks, right? With everything they're getting from Homebot and Street Text and calls and texts and blah, blah, blah. But after that, they're getting the once a month Homebot update from me, plus whatever drip campaign they're on, whether it's like every month, every 3 weeks, whatever it is, that's kind of how I use it.
Jason.
Yeah, I just want to share what I have done in Homebot. I'm brand new on it. I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago, and I also want to get some feedback maybe from Nina and Lynea. I went to my title rep and I asked her for non-owner occupieds in my city, Oceanside, California, and there were 11,000, I think, that started out. And then I paid for her to scrub through and give me email addresses, and we came out with 2,100 email addresses of non-owner occupieds in my area. Some of them live in New York, all over the place. So great customers. So I sent all those, I put them into Homebot. 462 came back with email issues. 100 of those just said opted out of it, which is fine. And then some of them were bad emails. So out of the 2,100, I had 1,840 that are still in the system, have gone out. It's only gone out 1 month, a couple weeks ago. 739 home opens. I don't quite know what that means. If they looked at it, if they went into their home, if you can explain that, it'd be great. And then there were 209 home views. And then I had one that requested a CMA, and she's out of state. So those are my first 2 weeks. I'm pretty impressed. It didn't cost me a lot of money. I think to scrub the emails cost me like $62. And they were 3 cents a piece or something like that. And then, I don't know, I think I spent $150 last month with Homebot, including the monthly fee. So pretty good results, I think, but you guys can weigh in on that. I appreciate it. I don't really know what to do with the 209. I don't have any systems built in yet. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to get on this right now and make sure I start building out.
I love that, Jason. Thanks for sharing that. So that view number is what you really want to pay attention to. That's your engagement rate. So the open just means they got the email in their inbox and they have the email open, but they're not actually in Homebot. Once they click to view their home valuation or their market information as a buyer, then the view number, that 200 some, means you had 200 people actually in the product itself. So that's,
and they're still looking at it. I see them like daily. They're still looking at them. So I just have to reach out to these people.
Yeah, absolutely. And our engagement rate, Mikayla said something earlier, hers is like in the 80 percentile. That's huge. We have 9 million people receiving Homebot every single month from their real estate agent, from their loan officer. And on average, we get a 50% monthly engagement rate. So the numbers are off the charts as far as marketing goes. People love to look at it. And there's a lot of talk around, is Homebot a CRM and is it another drip campaign? It really is an empowerment and an education tool for retention so that they continue to come back to you, not once, but twice, 3 times, and so forth.
Thank you.
Dan Fortin, there you go. AKA Space Dude.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was responding to a text to my wife. I couldn't get my mute button turned off. For Lynea, just real quick, I've been using Street Text for a while, and generally I'll send them their value, and I'll follow up any way I can via email, USPS, phone call if I can. Just kind of curious, what your follow-up looks like, or by using Homebot, do they organically come to you now and reach out to you?
So you asked, I heard 2 questions. I heard one was, what does my follow-up look like? And number 2 was, are they coming to me or am I calling them? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, I'm not, just because this isn't the platform for what my follow-up looks like, there are a lot of Street Text replays where I have talked about my follow-up. So I would encourage you to go look at the replays there. There is a series of video emails, PDFs, handwritten note, calls and texts that they get, as well as Homebot. So that's kind of like a full series to show it all to you.
All right, forgive my ignorance.
Yeah. As far as, am I calling people or are they calling me? I have an ISA who does go through and make my calls. Okay. But most of the time when I'm booking appointments, it's because someone has called me, and it's because either they called my ISA called them, or because they keep getting my campaigns and they call me because of the campaigns. So it's very rare that I'm actually calling someone and setting the appointment. They're usually calling me to set the appointment.
Okay.
And then Yeah, my calls are just following up with people most of the time.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And thank you for doing this.
Absolutely.
Vinny.
Did you say me?
Yes, I did.
Good morning. Quick question. So I'm coming back into real estate, regrouping with my lenders that I used to work with and asking if they're using Homebot. So I have a few that said yes. So how does it work if I like, okay, let's say Lynea is a lender and I'm like, okay, you use Homebot. How do they get to work with a bunch of realtors? Like, how do I connect with, how does it work? To say I want to work with you? I mean, can you sponsor me? What am I asking?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I would start with the people that you've already done business with. And I know when you're just coming back into the industry or you're newer, you may not have those relationships with. So I'm sure a lot of you are part of networking groups. I'm not sure how Lynea and Mikayla knew each other before, but a lot of times it just comes from asking people who they trust and who they like to work with, or maybe even some of your friends and family, and then introducing yourself to that lender.
I'm sorry.
About Homebot.
I don't think I explained it right. I have lenders that I like, that I've worked with in the past. And so now I'm reconnecting with those lenders and asking them, do you use Homebot? Do you know what it is? And they're telling me yes. So now out of the 4 that told me yes, let's say I want to work with one of them. Do I ask them to sponsor me, or is that what the verbiage is? Can I? So it's just, because if they're paying 200, do they work with a bunch of different realtors?
They do, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They could, they may or may not. So in order to sponsor a real estate agent, the loan officer has to share a cost of that subscription fee to stay compliant, right? We want to make sure first and foremost, everybody's doing what they need to stay secure and safe. So that loan officer has their own subscription fee. They also then pay a proportionate share of the real estate agent's cost on Homebot as well, since they're branded in your material. So yeah, verbiage is correct. Hey, if you're on Homebot and you're sponsoring agents, would you be willing to sponsor me? I'd love to work with you.
Thank you. And then they pay and they sponsor?
You'll pay your own subscription fee. They will also match your fee in order to sponsor you. And then that unlocks Homebot for buyers and video. Yeah, great question. So I'll just share this because I know a lot of people have asked and we're over on time. So I'll be really quick, and I'm totally fine here for everybody. But this is for all real estate agents and for loan officers as well. So for loan officers that are on the call right now, these are the 2 plans that you would choose from in order to get Homebot for you and be able to sponsor your real estate agents. There's a Pro and a Pro Plus. The biggest difference between these 2 is our new home search feature. So if you're a loan officer and you want to give even more qualified buyers to your real estate agent partners, they're going to love you for it. You want to go with Pro Plus. Go to our website, homebot.ai. If you are going to get started, write this down, street text 100. That's going to take off half of your setup fee. So that's the loan officer pricing. The additional cost for loan officers, if they're on the Pro Plus plan, they invite a real estate agent and the real estate agent says, yes, I want Homebot. Agents cost $25 a month for their Homebot account. The lender matches your $25 a month. So they'd be at $275 for one paid agent. The more agents they have, we eventually discount that cost for them per agent, but they will be paying that additional fee. So just consider it $25 a month. Chances are if they're sponsoring more agents, they know what that looks like. For the real estate agents on the line, $25 a month for you for your Homebot account. You also get 500 clients in your system. And then if you want more clients, it's an additional $10 a month for every block of 500. So if you're somebody that has up to 1,000 clients, you'd be paying $35 a month. Your setup fee is completely waived with street text 50. So when you go to homebot.ai, get started, there's a hot pink button. I'm a lender, I'm an agent. Just make sure, don't forget those 2 promo codes for joining us today. Street text 50 for the real estate agents, street text 100 for the loan officers.
Hey, Nina, can you explain about the home search again, Homebot home search, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't want to get too detailed into it. If you're a loan officer, you're not yet using Homebot, the best thing to do is schedule a one-on-one demo with our team. On our website under loan officers, go to book a demo. We'll walk you through the differences of those 2 platforms. Most loan officers don't have their own home search feature, right? So we created a native home search feature for our loan officers where they can allow their buyers to property shop, give your clients the opportunity to ask you better questions like, am I qualified for this house? Is it a good investment? so that when you go to hand that opportunity off to your real estate agent, they're armed with a much better buyer. But that's the home search feature. It's within Homebot.
So
Awesome.
it's not being used, that home search feature is not for the agents, it's only for the lenders.
Correct. The real estate agents, again, when you're sponsored by a loan officer and you get Homebot for buyers, you can add your own IDX feed in there, which is what you would much rather do anyway, right? Send your buyers where you want them to go to property shop. But as an agent, you can plug your IDX feed into Homebot.
But even if the lenders do not have the home search, we still can do it. Is that what you're saying?
The lender has to be sponsoring you in order for you to get Homebot for buyers. Yep.
Okay.
And they can be on Pro or Pro Plus. They just have to have a plan that supports sponsoring real estate agents.
This is awesome. We got a lot of questions. As long as you're okay. We've got Chini, Leon, Susan, Gia, and then Dee, and then Takai, I think. Go ahead, Chini.
Okay, I just wanted to share something new to Homebot, but there's a feature, I don't know if it's a new feature or whatever, but on Homebot, I was able to see a bunch of lenders that are sponsoring agents, and I just clicked on like 7 of them. I'm sorry. And 2 responded. So, I think only 1 can actually add you, and someone added me. So now I was able to unlock more features of Homebot. Am I wrong? I mean.
No, yeah, that's awesome. And there were a lot of questions around that. If you don't have a lender sponsoring your account and you're already using our system, at the top of your account where it says lender co-spo or co-sponsor, I'm not sure the exact verbiage. If you click on that, that will show you all of the loan officers in your area that are on Homebot and willing to sponsor agents. So that's a great way to introduce yourself, get to know them. So fantastic that one is already sponsoring you.
And unlock the features as well. So.
Yep.
Awesome. Belinda, you there?
Oops, yes, I'm sorry, I found the unmute button. Hi, Marcus. What I wanted to ask is, I've been using Homebot for a few years, and I wanted to ask, so now, is there a way, because obviously the lenders are, finding out obviously what one of our clients need, their financial services, but if the lender has a buyer that needs to sell a home, is there a way for us to find out about their sort of leads or whatever, you know what I mean, on their side?
Yeah, absolutely. So that loan officer, if their clients are saying, hey, what's my house worth? I'd like a CMA, thinking about selling in their Homebot account, they can go in and assign those CMA requests over to you as the real estate agent. So if I were you, Belinda, I would be talking to the lender that's sponsoring me and saying, hey, don't forget, let's scratch each other's backs here, right? Like, my clients are coming to you. So if you have clients that are thinking they need a real estate agent, I'm it, right? So make sure that they know that if they have any of those real estate questions that their clients need, that they can pass over some leads back your way.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so I definitely, that was the key question. I didn't know if that, I actually have used it for I don't know, 3 years now, and I've never had a lender sponsor, but I'm about to go get one.
Awesome, love that.
But I also want to say that I've always gotten 2 or 3 sales from Homebot, just people, that were street text leads that I've put in there that I honestly, got busy and forgot about, and they're just keeping engaged in that. I have a listing from it right now, so it's really an awesome tool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome testimony. Leon.
Hey, good morning, y'all. As you can see, I'm on the road today. But so real quick, something that was said earlier that I was going to tell everybody in here. One of them in street text, when the leads come in there, before you click the button to push it over, open it up, make sure you've updated all the information in there before you push it over to Homebot. Because in some cases, for example, let's say there wasn't a phone number, or sometimes like on the US side of things, the address pushes over, but it's not quite correct. So fix everything in Homebot and push it over. And then the other advantage about it delaying going out of Homebot is if I have time, I actually do go tweak it. And if I don't get it out in time and someone says it's wrong, I just totally agree with them and laugh and tell them, hey, that's what the public thinks your home is worth. but now they got you on the phone. So it's another touch. And just remember, you know, every story we hear with success, we always hear the follow-up that went into it. So you need to remember that, you know, don't just click a button and automate yourself out of a possible buyer or seller lead. Go ahead and check your work before you send it over, and then go from there. And then the other thing was also, before you export, something was said earlier, you can upload mass data into the Homebot, but you can export the whole list out of street text yourself and then do a mass upload into the Homebot. And that's another reason why you want to make sure your data is good before it goes.
Leon, I always love to hear you. You always come up with words of wisdom.
100%.
Trial and error and learning from others' mistakes as well as my own. That's what makes Street Tech so good. We just share wins and losses.
Just FYI, I have a hard stop in 8 minutes. I have a meeting with my CPA, so that's a hard stop.
Hard stop, guys. Hard stop. So this is rapid fire questions. Susan, Gia, D, Takaya, Dion, go fast.
Lynea, hey, did I hear you say that you send them an actual CMA before they get their Homebot?
No.
Or did I mishear you?
No, I didn't say that.
No, just the Homebot.
I said I'll send a CMA if I actually have a conversation with them. Like if I actually get them on the phone and have a conversation with them, or like email or response to one of my text messages, I'll send them a CMA. But I don't do it before Homebot.
Okay, thank you.
I used to try back when I first started getting all the leads, but it was too much. So I let Homebot do the work for me. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Gia.
So 2 questions real quick. And it's involving delay. So when we push them over, when do they get the welcome email? And then how many days is it before they get the actual report? Is it like a standard 2, 3? So if you can just tell me that, that would help.
If you're importing, yeah, absolutely. If you're importing your list into Homebot, our data team will tell you your data has been received. We're going to check it. It could be loaded in up to 7 business days. They're pretty fast. So I would just be ready to go with any welcome videos that you want before you even send us your data if you want to. That way, you know, you're set up for success. But as soon as they email you and tell you, Gia, your list has been loaded, we batch that list out. Let's call it 100 clients. We batch that out over the course of 7 days because we don't want to send all 100 on the same day. What if they all come back to you and then you're overwhelmed? So we send it out in 7ths. So there will be some people that receive it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, et cetera. And then by the time you have so many people in your Homebot database, there's constantly somebody getting their report. But what I would just tell you is be ready to go with those welcome videos so that they have that right away when they get it and you're not stressing out. If a lead comes into your Homebot from the widget or through street text, then what they're going to do is get a welcome email right away as soon as they enter in their email. And then 24 hours after that is when they get their first Homebot digest.
Okay.
D.
Yes, hi. I have a quick question. So what do you do if you just get an address only? No phone, just address.
That's a different follow-up. And it doesn't, I'll send them just mail them just until I get a hold of them. Or I look up, and then I also look up their address on, that's them, and try to get their name and email address. I'm sorry, name and phone number.
And try to reach them, or just keep mailing them on a drip campaign.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And when Street Text introduces their retargeting, that'll be super easy for you to stay in touch with them all the time. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent opportunity for Homebot to come up with a mailer, by the way.
Yeah, we don't have any physical mailers, but on our resources at the bottom of the resources tab, homebot.ai, you'll see we have templates for postcards, and you could always put a QR code in there. So if you only have somebody's physical address and you're doing those mailers, put a QR code on your postcard. You can create QR codes for free, have it linked back to that, put your address in here, and that's a great way to get that lead in.
Is that a QR specific to my Homebot account, or and then for their info?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So it's just one QR code for all the postcards.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, that's okay.
Awesome. All right, 2 more questions and we're done. Takaya. And then
you had it right the first time, Takia. Thank you. My quick question is, I don't mean to keep beating a dead horse about the lender sponsor, but one of my lenders says that his company actually has an account, or so he's not particularly himself sponsoring. So I'm not sure how to go about being added on. He didn't know what he would need to do or any of that.
Yeah, Takia, he can, or both of you can email customersuccess@homebot.ai and ask if they have the parameters to do that. Some companies pay for the full service, some only pay for a portion of it. So if he doesn't have access to that, he could upgrade his account and sponsor you, absolutely. But chances are he probably has the opportunity to be able to sponsor you.
Okay, yeah, because he just said it's his company does it and he doesn't pay for it himself. So he just wasn't sure. So you said customer success?
Yep, or he can go into his account under his agents tab and invite you, see what happens. I have a chance he probably has that feature turned on.
Okay. Customer success at Homebot though. Okay.
Awesome. Tian.
Thank you.
Hi, is there a coaching program, step-by-step system somewhere for us to follow? What to put into place when?
New, what, Nina?
Okay, just like no system to follow?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I wasn't sure if that was in regards to how Lynea sets all of her systems up or for Homebot specifically, but for us, as soon as you get started, again, we're not successful unless you are. So you'll get introductory emails from our company. We also, again, have that resources tab. I've put a couple links in the chat feature of where all of our videos, our help articles are. We do have one-on-one training if you really need it, but Lynea hit the nail on the head earlier when she said, this is so easy. If you can just click a button, like you can figure it out. It really is an easy platform, not just for you, but for your clients. And that's why the engagement is so high. But hands down, we have a tremendous customer success team with plenty of resources and training to make you successful.
Okay, thank you. Also, I saw that I think it's 500 contacts for the initial cost, and then how much after that?
Are you a real estate agent or a loan officer?
Yeah, an agent.
Real estate agent. So it's an additional $10 a month for every extra block of 500.
$10 for 500. Okay, that's awesome.
So if you have 1,000 clients, you're paying $30 a month.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Hey,
guys.
also remember the Facebook page, because I go into the Homebot Facebook page and there's things in there. There's one for realtors and one for lenders.
Yeah, mastermind groups are great. Thanks, Leon.
I wanted to thank Lynea for sharing.
Yes.
you. You're welcome. Happy to help.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Lynea, Mikayla, and everybody here. Anything that came out of this that you need more information on, drop it to the Street Text Insider community, or any one of us that you know personally, and we'll get you that information. Thank you again. Have an awesome day.